Rowan University has taken several steps in order to prevent the spread of the COVID-19 virus. Now, while these steps have indeed done that very thing, not many people think about what exactly that these steps harm when it comes to college experience. What we've done is we've interviewed two people who live on campus and a commuter to campus to ask just how much these measures that they've taken to stop the virus have actually impacted their college experience.
The reason I chose to commute to campus was it is my first year as a Rowan student, and I did transfer from a community college, so I wanted to try to feel like the lifestyle of a big campus from a community college. So that's why I really did try to attend classes here.
There, strangely enough, are some benefits to living on campus during the whole COVID thing. There's less people, which is kind of nice. It's kind of nice to be walking around and not have that giant street full of students, and you're walking around and you feel like everybody's closing in on you. So there's some nice things about it in that sense that you're a little more like not crowded by a bunch of people.
I chose to live on campus this semester because there's a lot of still on-campus activities and things that were happening that I didn't want to miss out on. I was home we've all been home for 6 months, and that I just wanted a change of scenery, change of view, change of rhythm and schedule, and things were still happening on campus, and I knew I did not want to miss out on them, so I decided to come back to campus.
It's definitely lonelier. There's not as much reason to get up and leave my place. And I think this is true all around the world, but there's not as much reason to get up and leave. There's not as much reason to get up and walk around, to go outside even. Why would I go outside ever when all of my classes take place sitting in my room, and then all of my homework takes place sitting in my room, and then we can't really get out to gather. So there's a loneliness about it, and I think that's probably the hardest part of really this whole pandemic in general.
My classes this semester are going actually okay to good. It's a big change for a lot of us because our generation, I have to say, is we never got the online experience of doing Zoom, WebEx, and the classes just not being physically in-person classes. Because the younger generation, like my little cousins, they had Google Classroom. They know this stuff is used to them, but it's just new to this generation of us college kids because we used to be in class and then just taking notes and just having about 30 kids in class with us.
To be honest, I'm not a huge fan of online Zoom classes. It's what we have to do and what we're living in, so this is how our society is moving forward right now. But I feel like even though, yes, I'm able to attend class from my room and have more free time to work on my work, and I don't have to travel around campus as much, I do feel like I'm missing something. I'm missing the in-person connection from other classmates. I feel like I'm alone in this class, that it's just me and the professor sometimes. So I feel like I'm losing that kind of sense of being a part of a group and kind of everyone's in the same boat and we're all trying to learn this class for the first time. So I feel like I'm losing that factor.
I almost feel like I'm like not part of the classes that I'm in. My professors are there for me. They've actually been there really strong for me throughout this. And students are somewhat, I think, engaged, but it's hard to remain involved in what you're doing when you're just sitting in your room and you're not really there. You kind of get into a rhythm of like, all right, well, I'm not really there, so maybe today I'm not going to get dressed, and then the next day you don't get dressed, and then all right, well, maybe today I'll take, I'll work on, whatever I'm doing.
For having Zoom classes, as a college kid, it's kind of hard because a lot of us are, again, used to being in front of the professor and asking the questions and seeing everybody's reaction to fill in the room and everything. In particular, for me, my major is a radio, television, and film major, so a lot of our classes, we need hands-on stuff. and how we need work for the cameras, the lighting, the audio board, and everything. It's just some of the courses we do have to be in person with, but also some are saying, "Oh, you can do it just at home." It's like, why would I do it at home? I want to get the training from these professors that love what they want to do and show us how to do things real good.
I feel like the campus has been handling the pandemic really well, in my opinion. They've been doing their part to stay active with being on top of their cases. I don't feel like I'm not safe here. I feel like everything's sanitary.
I think some things that could have been different was I didn't like how my one professor, we had the equipment, but we wouldn't get to use the equipment and everything. It's just a different type. I feel if you're a production class, I feel like we all should have been kind of together or split up more evenly into having a feel for how she is, because it's a production class. Each one of us know how to do something a little bit different than to somebody's liking. So I want that interaction in a production class of this is how I like it. Try to do more like this. I know that's your way, but this is kind of a better help for you.
So a big thing that I've found helpful during this semester is that my professors have been very flexible with getting stuff done. They've been relaxed. They've been like not too lenient, but lenient enough in the fact that they would say, if you email them and you say, hey, I can't get this done, I have a lot going on, family member's sick, or I need to get this particular project done and I'm just not up to date where I need to be. I've been given a few extensions that have helped me to get stuff done in a really great way this semester. And I think that it's been better for me learning because I've been able to actually put the time into the work and not just blow it off and rush to get it done at the last minute. I know that a system like that is one that, certain people could take advantage of it, but I do have to say that I think that we can implement it even beyond COVID because there's been a lot of value for me. I have learned things that I never would have had the time to learn had I been under the deadline crunch. And that's really why we're here, is to learn things. So it's definitely been helpful.